Hey guys, happy Sunday. I made some candles earlier. That was fun. It's just so therapeutic to create things, whether it's candles, oils, drawing, making jewelry, even anything. It's just so therapeutic. But sometimes it takes a while to put it all together, especially when you want it to look a certain way or turn out a certain way. So practice makes perfect, though. So I went to the Chinese mart with my mom not too long ago. It's such a nice rainy day today. I was not expecting the weather to be so beautiful. It's been raining all day today. A nice little surprise, basically, because where I'm at, it doesn't rain very much at all. And it's literally been just clouds and rain, and so nice. I know there's a lot out there that are not, they don't care for that because they get it so much. But over here, it's like a delicacy. So when it happens, I'm like jumping for joy. So yeah, it was fun. I went to the Asian Mart. I got some nice baked goods there. The Taiwanese bakery style goods. Those are my favorite types of baked items. Like far better than any other bakery item. No offense to American bakeries, but I like the Taiwanese bakeries the best. Then got some other things too, like produce and such. My mom was able to buy some Napa cabbage because they don't carry it at the regular American store, so you can only get it at the Asian market. I was asking her about whether or not the tariffs or the changes have been affecting the supply or the pricing of those items at the Asian marts, but she says she hasn't really noticed anything yet. So I guess we'll see. But other than that, it was fun. It was nice to kind of get out, spend some time with her, and open up to her about some things. Her and I have been working on healing our relationship together because, we've been through so much. Is mainly just her and I for most of my life. And there's still some things that we're working through as far as communication goes and understanding each other. So we had a nice talk and opened up, released some emotions and all that good stuff. June 9th is coming up here real soon. Today is the first day of June. And before you know it, Jupiter is going to be going into the sign of Cancer. And I'm looking forward to that because Jupiter will no longer be in detriment. It will be exalted. So much better placement for Jupiter to really perform well and out of my moon sign. Even though it's not at the degrees of my moon, just it being in the same sign isn't the best. So um, it's still fairly close to my Chiron placement, I guess, because I have my Chiron in Gemini at like 23 degrees. So that's more towards the ending part of Gemini. So that's been affected. But once Jupiter goes into Cancer, it will be closer to my 12th house. In Placidus, my 11th house has a combination of Gemini and Cancer. So the first portion of Cancer is at the end of the 11th house, and then it starts in the 12th house at the halfway point. And then the first portion of Leo is in my 12th house. So because I have my rising sign degree is at, I want to say it's at 13 degrees Leo. Is it? I think it's 13 or 15 degrees. I keep forgetting for some reason which one, but it's the same degree point that Marilyn Monroe has her rising degree. The last time that Jupiter was in Cancer was back in 2013, 2014. And that was around the time I almost died. I had a near death experience back in 2014 ish, where I almost bled out internally. So I remember the night before, I thought it was just really bad, painful cramps. And so I took some ibuprofen and went to bed. Woke up the next morning, and I guess when I tried to get out of the bed, I immediately face planted on the floor, um, into the laminate floor. I actually still have a scar right here. You can't really see it, but if you were to look up close, you'd see a scar there. And it's because all the blood rushed downwards. So all the blood was gone from my brain. So it just shut down naturally. And then they were trying to find out where the bleeding was coming from in the hospital with one of those ultrasound monitor things. Couldn't find it. And so they had to rush me to the ER, had to sign a blood transfusion waiver because I needed it. Otherwise, I was going to die. And they had to just go in and do surgery without knowing exactly where it was. So, but I remember when they were wheeling me to the ER, I could feel that they were rushing. They were running through the hallways. But there was a point where I must have been like out of my body kind of or something, because I just have this memory of seeing a figure that was on my right side as I was like laying down, like almost like I could tell that I was laying down, and on my right side there was this figure, and I knew it was my dad. I just had this knowing that it was him, and he put his hand on my right hand, and I heard my mother's voice in my head saying, "It's okay, Barry's with her now." My mom wasn't even there, but I heard her voice saying that. So it was a very interesting experience. Don't remember much about it at all, which makes sense. But what I do remember is that when the paramedics were picking me up and stuff, you know, they had to do all their tests. I remember feeling severely cold. I was so cold, I was shivering, my body was shaking. And it's like when you see in the movies when they play out like a death scene, someone who's dying, right? You can see them shivering, and they're literally like, you know, like they're shaking. Yeah, it does get very, very cold when you're about to die. So, but that was when the last time Jupiter was in Cancer, and Jupiter being in my 12th house, exalted, I got a visit from my dad from the spirit realm. And something even more crazy is that his birth chart, he was a Leo rising as well. So he also had Cancer in his 12th. But the difference is that his natal Jupiter placement was in the sign of Cancer. So he had Jupiter and Cancer in his 12th house, natally. And if he were still alive today, he would be getting his Jupiter return. And as soon as Uranus goes into Gemini, it would be his Uranus return as well. He would have been 84, 85 years old right now if he were still alive, getting his Uranus return. So, and I just find that really cool how it connects together. mean, who would have thought, what are the chances? It can't just be coincidental. Like, I believe that there's some things that are just a coincidence, but I also believe that there are a lot of other things that can't possibly just be coincidental. I feel that they were purposely aligned that way for a specific reason. Of course, we get to choose. We have the power of free will to make the decisions on which pathway to take. But I feel there's certain points in our life that we are placed in specific situations and circumstances that are offered to us, and we just make the decision on which way to go. So, just like fated moments, fated meetings or fated experiences and, destined experiences. I do believe in that stuff. Past lives as well. Very much so. In fact, I've gone through stuff that has proven that to me to be very true. Past lives. And certain people that we meet for very important reasons. Like, we are meant to meet certain people. We sign a contract with them to learn lessons together. A lot of times they're not easy lessons, but they are important ones for us, for our growth. And then that's what really reminds you of your divinity, the soul, the consciousness within us, how far it really goes, how deep it really goes. Anyway, I just thought I would share that. But I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your Sunday. And until the next time, peace out.